Jiro here for Umbra Games with a review of Boulder Dash Deluxe, part of the Boulder Dash Ultimate Collection released for Nintendo Switch physically on January 28, 2022, published by NN Games and developed by BBG Entertainment. Deluxe is also available digitally on several other platforms. Boulder Dash was not a game I was particularly familiar with, the original I believe coming on Commodore 64, and an NES version was also released, and again just something I never really came into contact with. Every once in a while I like to play these little quick stage games with score rankings. I also like to watch NN Games and see the things they decide to make physical, so thought I'd give this a shot. The core concept of Boulder Dash is to collect enough gems to open the exit while smashing or dodging enemies. The level is filled with dirt you can remove by walking through it, and if there's boulders on top of that, they'll come collapsing down. If a boulder is on another boulder and can move down a level, left or right, it will do so. You can eradicate enemies by pushing a boulder left or right, forcing it to drop on them, or getting them caught up in an avalanche. Many areas have cubic blocks too, which don't quite roll the way boulders do, and they can't be pushed. Use the left stick or D-pad to move your character, and you can use the right stick to dig and push in the spaces around you without having to step there and risk danger. The face buttons will activate their respective consumable power-ups. Dynamite can be dropped when you're trapped to do the block-adjacent destruction. The score multiplier will grant 2 times score to everything you do in the following 5 or so seconds. The snowflake will freeze all entities, but let you continue to move around. And the magnifying glass gives you 10 seconds and lets you scroll around the map. Deluxe is divided into 9 worlds with 20 stages each. 8 of them take place in diverse biomes, and 1 is a throwback to the original Commodore 64 version. Some worlds are opened by collectibles, which I'll talk about here in a second, and others are locked behind an accumulation threshold of stars, which I'll also go into here soon. There are only 3 or 4 enemy types in the game, and those get reskinned for each area. There are enemies that move strictly left and right, ones that move strictly up and down, and enemies that'll just ride around the outside. Certain enemies in each area will explode into a shower of gems when smashed, which is actually required in many stages. A lot of the stages have more gems than are required to open the door, and sometimes you might want to grab some to help out with the star rating, which is based on an accumulated score on a level. When I played, I focused on 3-starring every stage, and while a lot of this did end up coming pretty naturally, sometimes it took doing things a little differently. For each gem you pick up within a few seconds of each other, you get an increasing score bonus. Enemies are worth points when destroyed, and walking through the exit with time left on the clock will give you a tiny bit as well. Some stages are fairly open, letting you take your time and kind of explore. Now, as I said, there's a time limit, so you always want to be pushing forward, but many stages give you a little bit of peace. Others require swift and completely accurate execution, so I'm taking some trial and error because you may not know how an avalanche is going to fall when hitting this dirt block versus that one. Others will be narrow corridors, merely testing your control ability moving through before the world comes down on top of you. When you're killed in a stage by getting smashed by a rock or touching an enemy or running out of time, you start the stage completely over. However, for every stage you 3-star, you get a gold bar that can be used to continue, granting you an explosive entrance, destroying everything around you that's 1 block adjacent, and will continue to do so for a couple of seconds, and also gives you an additional 60 seconds extra on the timer. You will also randomly find treasure chests when digging through dirt that are opened up upon level completion that hold these bars, as well as the 4 power-ups you can use and some collectibles. The variety of collectibles are used to open new outfits that give small bonuses to your characters like plus 2% move speed. I didn't get all of these unlocked after 26 hours with the game 3-starring all 180 stages. I still didn't have enough to open up everything. As mentioned, some of these collectibles found in the chests also are required to open up the game's worlds. Control-wise, I found myself changing between the stick and the gamepad. There are a lot of times when you kind of have to be really precise, grabbing gems out of an avalanche stream, for example. I did get stuck on a few corners here and there, and I'll whine a bit and say sometimes it really didn't feel like my fault, but you just have to learn to overcome. And that's about it. There's pretty much no bells and whistles here. Barely a title screen, a single game file that you can reset progress on all stages if you want to start over, no credits for completing it at all, or any bonuses for 3-starring everything. Honestly, I didn't expect to sink this much time into this game though. I thought it'd be a pretty quick completion. I'll admit there were a few stages that took a significant number of tries, but there are also ones I finished on my first attempt. There were some times it felt like it wore its welcome a little bit, but overall the challenge ends up being just about right. Again, also, this is half of what's offered in this Ultimate Collection. This release does have 2 tiles it installs into your Switch, one for Boulder Dash Deluxe and one for the 30th anniversary, which I haven't even touched yet. Visually, well, you can see it. It's not the most detailed thing you'll see. Textures really aren't that great. Animations are limited. I honestly don't understand what the perspective is either. Gravity affects boulders, yet you can run vertically. No enemies are affected by gravity, but hey, it is what it is. I had some, I wouldn't call it exactly screen tear, but the screen did jerk seemingly randomly. It wasn't enough to make me have a seizure or lose a life or anything, but it was noticeable and a little bit annoying. I'm gonna be honest here too, I don't really remember the music. Not even sure if there was any. The sound effects were stock and a bit cringy, so really what you're going for here is the fast-paced action and puzzles. Overall, Boulder Dash Deluxe has a ton of content, a good challenge level, not much enemy variety. Visually, it's not much to look at, audibly not much to listen to, but if you want some fast-paced puzzle action, there's a lot here to keep you busy. Rated as a puzzle action game, Boulder Dash Deluxe rolls in at a 59 on my 0 to 100 scale, where 50 is an average game. This is Jiro for Umbra Games. Thanks for watching.